Ganon's always represented a pure powerhouse for me in Smash, a real final boss type character. He's someone that can just get ran circles around, but if Ganon gets one hit on you, you are in for a really bad time. Like a final boss, in many cases, he's been easily defeated in essentially every single game of Smash, but it seems like now may finally be his time to rule in the way the Ganon mains have kind of always hoped for.
Ganon was good in Melee and kinda terrible in every other game. They made him too slow, gave him too much lag, and kinda removed any chance for him to actually get in past Melee. Even when he got in though, his combo game just wasn't that impressive compared to most people, and as well, most people could actually, in the end, do more damage versus him than he could do versus them because their combos were just so much longer. Now, one thing that he has always had is power, but with the lack of anything else, he really suffered. In Ultimate, Ganon's still going to struggle in some matchups, which does kind of hurt him. He's still going to have a hard time getting in versus sword characters or projectile spammers and keeping out people that are super fast versus him. However, I think they're going to be finally winnable in this game if you play them correctly. Additionally with this, he has extra mobility options which are going to be great, less landing log on everything, and honestly he gives him a really big solid shot of actually getting in now, and mainly getting a lot more combos leading to a lot more damage. Add that to the fact that he has a new sword mechanic on all of his smashes, and I think you got a character that won't be going from, bottom tier to top tier, but one that is going to be much better and much more fun to play than his previous incarnations.
For more future info on Ganon, hit subscribe as I'll be giving any updated information on him and as well every character in Smash Ultimate to boot, along with more advanced tips on Ganondorf as the game comes out. Anyways, he'll be going over the most important changes / the best parts about the character. Now I won't be going over every single part about the character's frame data, but that'll all be linked down in the description below, so if you want to read up on it, it's going to be there. Anyways, Ganon has been, in my opinion, one of the most buffed characters in the entire game, and one of the biggest buffs to him is honestly just his mobility. Now, they didn't make his run speed any better, which does kind of honestly suck because he is really slow, but he did get a huge buff to his jump squat, making it go from 7 frames in the last game to 3, which allows you to get off the ground a lot faster and mainly be able to throw out aerials a lot faster and just kind of fight a lot of the faster characters. Now, in addition, his dash speed also seemed to be a lot faster now, allowing you to dash dance as a really useful and main way to get around. Speaking of dashing, Ganon can now actually dash cancel into essentially his best moves. Dash cancel into jab, forward tilt, and down tilt, and they're all going to be so impactful for Ganon. Now in previous games, he had these moves and they were still really good, but the only way you could really get them actually out on the opponent was by letting go of shield, running, and then letting go of shield, and then going for them. Because his walk was so slow that you couldn't really consistently get them out of that, which kind of sucked. But in Smash Ultimate, now you can use them anytime you want to. Now this is going to make his ground game so much better, but you have to add this in the addition that he also does more damage per hit with all these moves, and I think when you put that all together, yeah, he's going to be a lot more powerful on the ground. To his air game, I'd say that he probably has one of the most buffed air games in the entire game. His airspeed seems a little bit faster, which is kind of nice, but the main change to him is his ending lag. Now almost every single move that Ganon has when landing now is cut in half. And this change just makes him so much safer on shield, so much safer when throwing these out, and actually a lot safer when on hit, which is great. It gives him more chance to do what he wants to do, and actually, when he hits his opponent, leads into more combos now, as the end lag is just so much less now, so he can go into so many more combos. This change just brings brand new life into Ganon, and while many of his aerials still take quite a while to actually come out, they're all finally usable in this game. Moving on to his most noticeable change, his smash attacks now all bring out a gigantic sword. Now they seem to have quite similar power as the last game, which is amazing, but now have much more range and a huge disjointed hitbox that can hit people sometimes even somewhat under the stage. And while they do have a little bit more lag, I'm going to say that it is, really a worthwhile trade in almost every situation. Next, let's talk about his special moves, and he's been also gifted a lot of buffs in this respect. First off, his side B, the Flame Choke, which in my opinion is probably his best special move, now has much less end lag, allowing it to honestly combo into essentially any tilt that he wants to, except for up tilt, and mainly, probably into down tilt to start up a combo. This makes his command grab so much better, and it makes the command grab that already required a lot of respect, require even more respect out of his opponent, and will oftentimes actually scare them into not shielding and allowing you to hit an opponent while they should be shielding. I think overall this is going to be great for the character and just a plain out buff for his side B. Finally, his down B, up B, and neutral B all do more damage, knockback, and most of them also have some pretty nice quality of life changes but aren't way too huge. In general though, I think these moves are just kind of the same as before, but a little bit better, so that's kind of nice as well. Ganondorf is an extreme powerhouse that exerts pressure on his opponent due to his massive hitboxes and high damage output. He demands respect from his opponent, and if respect isn't given, he can end off stocks earlier than just about anybody else can. As Ganondorf, you have the power of fear, so make sure to use that. Get into your opponent's head, force them into making quick and rash decisions, and then punish those, and if you can do that, you'll find quick success. Additionally, Ganondorf is a character that is heavy and strong. He wants to trade hits with his opponent as much as humanly possible to try to end up on top, as he can take more hits than his opponent with his weight, and he can deal more damage per hit with his power. Now, it may be kind of hard to do this all the time with a less than stellar neutral and a very poor advantage state with the lack of a get off me move, but if you can stay trading attacks or just straight up punishing your opponent's approaches, you'll end up on top. Another thing about Ganon players is that you need to be smart. Ganon is slow, predictable, and it's honestly hard for him to just automatically punish any mistake in the world like a much faster character because he doesn't really have that speed. As Ganon, you kind of need to be in your opponent's head, you need to be thinking about what they're doing next and read that option and then punish that option. He's a character that needs to play off these reactions more than anybody else in the game, as he has no real get out of jail free cards like, maybe Sonic with his dash attack or with a side B or anything like that. The only way you're going to be winning as Ganon is with smart plays and quick thinking, which is kind of ironic for a character that is just so slow. Something new to Ultimate Ganon they didn't have in Smash 4 is going to be dash dancing. Now this makes it that Ganon is a character that, while on the ground, can actually demand his space on his side of the field, and one that can actually stuff out a lot of approaches from his opponents with his tilts with relative ease. In Ultimate, you probably want to find yourself on the ground for the most part. That's where he's going to be kind of somewhat safe, and then from there, use your aerials for harder reads and for bigger rewards. Another thing in Ultimate that Ganon can actually do is that he can, in this game, space up air and back air against sword characters and campers, and do pretty well against them now. These moves are much quicker than they were in the past, and they're already pretty good then in the first place. And in addition to playing really smart, using your dash dancing well, this might actually give Ganon a way to play against these oppressive foes and these oppressive matchups. Now, I'm not going to say that this is going to be easy to beat these characters still, but if you can space and time yourself 100% correctly with these moves, Ganon may actually stand a real chance versus these enemies in Ultimate. Finally, Ganon has always been a god at edge guarding, and it's something that you should definitely focus on and practice a ton on. But as well, he's had a terrible recovery himself. And in Ultimate, this is going to be even more of a double-edged sword, because it's not going to be that easy to get back on the ledge as Ganon, because he has a very bad recovery, but as well, it's going to be almost impossible for the opponent to get back versus a good Ganon with his oppressive down air, back air, down B, forward air. He has a lot of good options. Now, the best thing about this, and the best thing you should be doing, is try to abuse when you're getting the opponent off stage and minimize the times when you're off stage. And how you can do this is by focusing on stage control. Be okay with getting hit a few times if you have to, as long as you can keep your enemy near the edge and keep yourself away from the edge. Now, at this point, if you can get a trade attack, which you're probably going to hit them further than they hit you, get the enemy off the cliff, and then go for the edge guard and end of stock, that's perfect. Always keep the edge in mind, and honestly, if you can do that, if you can keep a lot of stage control, you can have a solid shot versus just about everybody. For stuff to practice, Ganon really doesn't have that much character-specific things, honestly, but what you will need to 100% practice, because I've been mentioning it so much, is going to be dash dancing and dash canceling into tilts. Now, overall, Ganon is a very easy to telegraph character, and without any of these, you're just going to be very, very slow and very, very easy to see. So, use these new options as much as you can. Mix them up with a lot of tomahawk grabs as well, flame chokes, and wizard feet to get in, and if you can do all of that, you'll kind of figure out that Ganon actually has a lot more options than just running up and using back air. For one thing that you gotta learn as Ganon, it's gonna be to practice his side B tech chases and learn how they actually work. Honestly, in order to do this, just go into the training mode, hit your opponent in the air and in the ground with his side B, and see what you can actually do to follow up after you hit this and how you can continue up the pressure. Now, honestly, if you hit on the ground with a side B, you can probably hit with a down tilt, a forward tilt, maybe even a jab and try to follow up after that. And if you hit in the air, the opponent has to attack one way or the other way, so you can just follow up on there and see how you can actually punish them for whatever choice they make. Honestly, having a long-range command grab as Ganon gives him such an amount of pressure that he wouldn't have otherwise, and gets a lot of people to have to get out of shield, which otherwise he'd have a really big problem with. So, learn how to use this tool well, scare your opponent out of their safest move, the shield, and if you can get all that down, you're going to get so much respect, and just honestly be able to destroy certain people that don't have very good defensive spacing.
And there you guys go, these are all the reasons why you should be maining Ganondorf in Smash Ultimate. Now, if you have a certain character you want me to cover next, comment hashtag the character name YOUShouldMain or WYSM, and hit that subscribe button / notification bell to actually see the guide on that character when it finally comes out. Now, if not, maybe comment down below what your favorite part about Ganon is in Smash Ultimate, or why you might want to actually main this character in this game. As always though guys, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, click on that notification bell, or at the top right of the screen right now, there's going to be a link to a playlist of more Smash Ultimate analysis videos like this one, specifically a Why You Should Main on Ike and Snake. So I think those were both really enjoyable for you. Anyways, as always though guys, thank you all for watching and have a smashing day.